For those CEOs who are scared out there.
I don't even know if I should use the word funny because it's like so dumb. So New York State, which is of course where Brian Thompson was and where he was shot, is considering creating a special hotline exclusively for CEOs to report perceived threats. Can you imagine if they had a hotline for us to call in perceived threats as opposed to actual threats? Like you have...
I just don't feel safe.
I brought this up on, I think, the last show that I had once, talked to cops like twice about what I perceived to be actual threats to my safety. And the cops were like, that's not a thing, go away. But now there's a they want to have a hotline so that they can call in with perceived threats, which really I can only imagine what that would be like. This person looked at me funny after I had just spent the afternoon denying thousands of critically ill people basic health care that would save their life. And I felt threatened by this woman looking at me funny at the coffee shop. Like, what is a perceived threat if you're a horrible human being doing horrible things every day? I can only imagine.
Well, and also the idea that like the state of New York, the governor in the state of New York are rushing to make sure CEOs feel comfortable. They're not rushing to make sure like those who are struggling across New York State feel comfortable. They're not adding new hotlines. I'm not saying you can't, call a hospital or something, but they're not adding in new hotlines for if you feel hungry or if you are going to die on the streets. That we're not rushing for that, but let's make sure CEOs feel comfortable. I would love to see what these calls are like. It's going to be okay. You're good enough. You're smart enough.
New York Governor Kathy Hochul told MSNBC's Morning Joe, who's just a hell of a guy, about her plans to hold a proactive meeting with 175 corporate representatives, as well as Homeland Security and counterterrorism officials, to discuss how to share intelligence, there is none, with corporate security. So literally the governor of New York is taking time out of her busy day to meet with 175 pieces of shit, as well as Homeland Security, also a pile of shit, and counterterrorism officials, please see previous comment, to basically talk about how they can protect CEOs better. I'm just assuming that Governor Kathy, that in the midst of all this, the amount of people going hungry in your state, the amount of people that are unhoused in your state, the amount of domestic abuse or child abuse or rape or sexual assault cases haven't just leveled to nothing. So I'm assuming there's like actual harm being done to actual human beings, as opposed to some CEOs who own 8 yachts being a little uncomfortable, but obviously not uncomfortable enough to postpone their shareholder meeting. So not that uncomfortable, but you feel it's important to ensure that you take time out of your busy day to sit with these penis wrinkles and address their quote unquote fears.
Yeah, well, like, what would save a lot more lives, like just a crazy percentage more lives, is if they created a hotline for when you're being denied medical care by your health insurance company, when you shouldn't be. For everybody who's tried to call their health insurance company over and over and over again and either been put on hold eternally or given to one department to the next, there should be a hotline for, hey, why don't you go after these people and make sure I get the goddamn medical care I need. It's so disgusting, but it shows how afraid the ruling elite are right now of the status quo crumbling, of the adoration, for lack of a better word, that so many people across this country have had for Luigi Mangione. It comes from a place, and that place is how this system is. It's so disgusting that this is the response.